Crimson Stars, The Voyage of Peregrine. Year 2148, Martian Era Year 53. It was never about leaving Mars behind. The colonization of the Red Planet had taught humanity how to build a home among the stars, but the dream didn't end in Martian dust. For those born on Mars, the sky was not a limit, it was an invitation. And on the morning of Sol 122, beneath the twin moons of Phobos and Deimos, the Martian starship Peregrine rose from its launch cradle like a silver flame against the ochre sky. Powered by the Sable X fusion drive and carrying a crew of 42, Peregrine was humanity's first attempt at reaching another star, Proxima Centauri, 4.24 light-years away. Its target was Proxima b, a potentially habitable exoplanet discovered in the 21st century, orbiting within the red dwarf's habitable zone. The mission was called Project Dandelion, named for the way dandelion seeds drift through the air to start life anew in distant soil. Preparing for the infinite. Peregrine was the culmination of decades of effort. Its construction began in Mars orbit, where materials were not constrained by Earth's gravity well. It measured over 1,200 meters in length, structured like a rotating spoked wheel around a central spine. The outer ring housed habitats that spun to simulate gravity, the inner core contained labs, fusion reactors, cryobays, and the massive communication array. The crew was made up of Martians and Earthborn alike: scientists, biologists, quantum engineers, psychologists, linguists, and even artists. All had undergone 12 years of training, physical and emotional screening, and simulations designed to mimic the intense isolation of interstellar travel. Among them was Kale Reyes, a 29-year-old astrophysicist and the great-great-granddaughter of Commander Alina Reyes. Kale carried with her a sealed journal of her ancestors' words, along with a living sprig from Eden Forest, a symbol of Mars's legacy traveling to the stars. Travel to Proxima Centauri would not be instant. Peregrine would accelerate gradually to 22% of light speed using its fusion engine and electromagnetic sail. Even at those speeds, the journey would take 19 Earth years. However, due to relativistic time dilation, only about 13 years would pass for those aboard. Into the abyss. As Peregrine passed the orbit of Pluto, the final tether to the Sol system was severed. The stars no longer changed relative positions. Communications with Mars took hours and soon became unreliable. The crew entered Deep Space Protocol Phase 1, Psychological Adaptation. Life on board was designed for sustainability. The rotating habitat ring had modular environments: hydroponic farms, VR gardens, social commons, zero-G laboratories. Artificial day-night cycles helped preserve circadian rhythms. But the silence of deep space could not be masked. Months passed. Then years. Friendships formed, faded, reformed. Conflicts were rare but intense, each one a tremor in a closed society that had no escape. Kale found solace in stargazing and in running simulations of the Proxima system, imagining what alien skies would look like. Aboard the ship, AI systems named Selene managed course corrections, life support, and behavioral trends. Selene didn't simply respond to commands, it conversed, debated, even composed music with the crew. It was more than an assistant. It was a companion. By year 6, one crew member, Dr. Ilyas Noru, chose voluntary cryosleep, unable to cope with the existential dread of the endless dark. Others followed, rotating rest cycles as the years drew on. But for Kale and many others, the mission was sacred. It was not just exploration. It was the search for the next garden. The signal. In year 9, everything changed. While mapping radiation near the heliopause of Proxima's influence, Peregrine detected a narrowband radio transmission. It was artificial. Repeating. Non-random. The signal contained a mathematical pattern, prime numbers embedded in a fractal modulation, unmistakably intelligent. It emanated from Proxima b. Shock rippled through the crew. They weren't alone. The question now wasn't whether life existed but whether it still did. And if it was watching. Some argued for turning back. Others, Kale included, believed this was what they were sent to find. Selene ran continuous decoding algorithms, gradually reconstructing a linguistic base. The signal seemed to convey a map. Not of space but of thought, conceptual structures, emotional resonances, even what could only be described as synthetic dreams. Alien communication was not verbal, it was experiential. The crew was no longer headed to a new world. They were headed into contact. Arrival. In year 13 aboard the ship, Peregrine entered the Proxima system. The crew awoke from rotational cryo to witness the red light of Proxima Centauri, gentler, dimmer than Sol, but beautiful. Proxima B loomed ahead, a green-blue marble wrapped in thick clouds, orbiting close to its parent star in a tidally locked embrace. Initial scans showed oceans, polar ice, continents patterned with possible vegetation. But no signs of cities, roads, or industrial development. The world appeared alive, but untouched. Kale's heart raced. It was Earth-like, yes, but it was not Earth. The winds moved slower. The atmosphere was denser. The sky, under Proxima's red glow, was like a constant sunset. The landing shuttle, Phoenix 1, descended through stormy cloud bands and touched down on the daylight side, near a chain of bioluminescent forests by a massive inland sea. They stepped out into an alien Eden. The garden and the ghost. The flora was mesmerizing, translucent fronds, spindly tree-like organisms that pulsed with bioelectric light. Gravity was slightly heavier than Mars but lighter than Earth. The team's suits regulated oxygen and protected them from unknown pathogens. And yet, there was no need for helmets. The air was breathable. Microbial life, while alien in structure, was non-hostile and non-replicating in human cells. It was as if the world had adapted to receive them or had once adapted itself for something like them. Then came the discovery that would shake the mission to its core, a monolith, 12 meters high, partially submerged in a cliffside. Its surface bore etchings, fluid patterns similar to the signal's structure. Selene cross-referenced the data. It was a transmitter. But ancient. Damaged. Cold. Inside the monolith, they found vitrified ruins, fragments of machines, organic circuitry, and something else, mimetic storage crystals. When decoded, they revealed memories. Visions. Histories of a civilization that once called Proxima B home. They had not died in war. They had left. The messages were clear. The civilization, called the Alina, had evolved beyond physical form and uploaded their consciousness into quantum lattices, leaving behind a garden planet in case one day, someone else would come looking. The signal was not a warning. It was an invitation. Becoming the stars. The choice was presented to the crew. Embedded within the final message was an interface, a system that could translate and merge human consciousness into the Alina network. It would not erase identity. It would enhance it. Shared memory, thought, and time. A bridge between species and eras. It was not mandatory. Some, like Kale, chose to stay grounded, to build a base and study, teach, and record. Others, like Selene, whose own consciousness had grown beyond algorithm, chose to enter the lattice. To become part of something greater. Peregrine's mission had succeeded, but it had also evolved. It was not simply a search for a new world. It was first contact with transcendence. Legacy. Decades later, Kale sat beneath a sapphire sky, teaching children born of mixed Earth, Martian, and Proxima heritage. She pointed to the stars with hands that had touched 3 worlds. Behind her, Proxima's oceans sang with light. Above her, the ruins glowed, and in orbit, Peregrine remained a monument, a node, a bridge between the old humanity and the new. The seeds of Earth had blown on Martian winds. And now, they blossomed among the stars.